Hey, if you've ever bought one of these Vevor chainsaws or any other budget chainsaw for that matter, and you have troubles getting them started, stay with us. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps on how to troubleshoot this thing yourself before you send it back. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everyone. You know, several of you have bought these Vevor chainsaws. You bought the Garwinter in the background, Pro Yamas and the Hosformas, and sometimes they come and they don't start right out of the box. That's what this video is about. Instead of sending this Vevor back, let me show you how to properly tune it. Go through a few simple checks if you can't get it to start. So let's take a look at the 4 things that you need to be aware of. You know, I've been a Master ASE Certified Technician for the past 30 years, and I'm going to walk you through the exact same process that I use. No matter the size of horsepower, whether it's the 10, 15,000 horsepower engines that I've worked on, or these little 3 or 4 horsepower 2-stroke engines, the process is still the same. You've got to have air, you got to have spark, you got to have fuel, and you got to have compression. So we're going to start walking through some of those, and the first thing I want to start off with is probably the most easy. What type of fuel are you using? You know, these saws call for 40 to 1. If you don't have the proper fuel mix, a lot of times these things will not start at all. Is it this year's fuel? Is it last year's fuel? Was it out of a can? Was it fuel that you used in another 2-stroke or something of that nature? A lot of times it's the fuel. Does it have water in it from condensation just sitting inside a shop or a garage? Now that we determined that the fuel is okay, now we're going to move into the spark. We're going to go in and we're going to check, make sure our spark plug is tight. We're going to go ahead and take it out. We're going to look at our spark plug, make sure it's properly gapped. So we're going to go ahead and pop the cover off. Now we got to remove the air cleaner as well. All right, let's go ahead and remove our spark plug. See, this one's tight. Now you want to be careful, friends, when you put your spark plug wrench on here. Make sure you get it all the way on there, because you can break this porcelain, and once you crack this porcelain, you run the spark plug. So we're going to be very careful when we do that. I see a lot of people wanting to put open-end wrenches on here, and a lot of times that's what breaks these porcelains. And sometimes they're hairline cracks and you never see it. Now if we look at this spark plug needs to be gapped at about 25,000ths of an inch. You can see I have a spark plug gapping tool here. It starts thin right here and it goes up. So I'm going to put this underneath here. Now I'm going to tell you, friends, this spark plug actually is too narrow of a gap. This thing needs to be gapped out about 25,000ths. So I'm going to slide this under here. And I'm not even sure how far this thing will go. This spark plug wasn't even gapped at 10,000ths of an inch. I'm going to slide this around, get to about the 25, which is about that next mark right there, if you can see that. Okay, that's 30, this is 20, so we're going to put it right in the middle. And as you can tell now, it has a proper gap. And sometimes that's the problem. When they're gapped too small, they won't fire properly. So if you get you a gapping tool, you can pick these things up at any parts store. They're only like $4 or $5. Well worth the investment. So this goes to 25,000ths. I know that this is gapped right now, but what I'm going to go ahead and do, now you may not have one of these run you a little bit higher, but I'm going to show you what kind of compression these new Vevors should have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this about 6 times. Now we can see right there, friends, this thing has 180 psi. That is a tremendous amount of compression for any saw, and especially for these budget saws. I am very excited about this compression. And that's a tremendous amount of compression for any saw, okay? And especially these budget chainsaws that you pick up for just a little over $100. So we know our compression's good. We know our spark plug gap is right. All right, now let's go ahead and check the spark. Now we got a couple ways that we can do this. One of the easiest ways is to stick it in here. If you don't have one of these spark testers, put your spark plug back in, stick it up here against the cylinder so that it grounds out. Make sure our switch is on. Yeah, it's sparking right there. See that? And another way we can do it is put our spark plug back in, and we're going to use our spark plug tester. Now when you tighten these up, you don't want to over torque your spark plug. Just snug it down. Now take your spark plug tester. We're going to slip it into our spark plug wire. and put the other end on our spark plug. And then what we're going to see is we're going to see it fire right here. Now you can see it glow right here. Okay, did you see it fire? All right. Now let's go ahead and stick this back together. Now while I'm in here, friends, I'm going to go ahead and look at the carburetor. I want to make sure that the choke works. And as you can see right there, you can see the butterfly and the choke working. Make sure that works. Make sure the linkage, make sure the fuel hoses are hooked up. Okay, now this particular saw doesn't have a primer bulb on it. All right, one other thing we can do to see if it's getting fuel, sometimes when these things won't start, it's hard to tell if they don't have a primer bulb, if they're getting fuel up here in the carburetor. So what we can do is we're gonna simulate this thing not starting and not getting spark. And you can take a little small squirt can, put just a couple squirts inside there, and pull this over and see if it pops. Now I've got the switch off to simulate the spark plug not firing. So by putting gas in here, it's going ahead and putting gas in the cylinder. So because it didn't pop, that means that the spark plug is not firing. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the switch, which is going to now let the spark plug fire. And now if we was to put some gas in here, now when I pull it and it fires, what that would tell us right then is that our spark plug is firing. But because the engine's not staying running, there's a problem with the fuel system. Now that could be the lines, and we'd want to go check the lines. That could be the filter inside the tank. So that gives us an indication whether it's a carburetor kit or a problem with the fuel lines going to it, that it's now not the spark plug. So we're going to go ahead and move on from there. Now you can see where the recess where our air cleaner sets. Now, if this was an old air cleaner, we'd want to make sure it wasn't plugged up, because if you're not getting the proper air through here, down into the carburetor, it won't start. So make sure your air cleaner is always cleaned out. That's our proper air. Put this back together. All right, friends, so what you've seen us check the fuel. You've seen us check the spark plug. We had to re-gap it. We used our gapping tool. It was only at 10,000ths of an inch. They should be around 25 thousandths of an inch. That alone is enough not to make this saw start. That could be the problem with your saw. I can tell you right now, this saw has never had the spark plug gap adjusted. So that was what it came as from the factory. So chances are yours may be gapped at 10 thousandths, and that might be one reason you're having trouble getting it started. Several of you have asked me they couldn't get them started. I've pointed you to the spark plugs and gapping those too, but you can pick these tools up at your parts stores, and they're only like $3 or $5 max, and these are a valuable tool. So we re-gapped our spark plug. I'm going to say that would make this saw go ahead and start and run. We've also made sure our compression, some phenomenal amount of compression at 180 psi. It doesn't matter what saw you're working on. If you're working on this type of saw right here, this 562, that's probably about what you're going to be running too. So we checked the fuel, we checked the spark plug, we checked the spark plug gap, we checked the compression, we checked the air cleaner. Now all we need to do, friends, is our proper carb tuning. But I'm going to go ahead and start this saw. Go back and watch adjusting your carburetor video that I have on this Vevor. It's a very in-depth how-to. Let's go ahead and see if this thing will start. Now I will tell you, this thing's a little boggy now that I've adjusted that spark plug, redid that gap. So I want to go in here and I'm going to adjust the high side on this. And sometimes you will, friends. Anytime you make an adjustment to one of the things or the other, you may have to go back in and readjust this to perfectly and tune it. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. I'm going to run it back into perfect, friends. Let's restart it here. Let's see how it starts. I'm going to tell you what, friends, that is perfect now. Readjusted that spark plug. That's the reason it was bogging out. But I had it tuned to that spark plug before. And so when I readjusted that spark plug, it gave it more spark, created more amperage to jump, more voltage to jump, creating a bigger spark. Also a more cleaner burn. So I had to readjust the high idle. Ran it all the way in till you heard it rev up. Backed it out till you started hearing it gurgle, which means we got the proper oil fuel mixture going in the cylinder to oil the rings, oil the piston, to oil the cylinder, and to oil the crankshaft. So while we're on that subject, I want to talk about something real quick. I got two products that I truly believe in. One is Husqvarna XP Plus. It's the synthetic 2-stroke oil. These saws call for 40-to-1, and I mix every single saw I have at 40-to-1, whether it be this saw, the Garwinner, the big 365 Husqvarna, the Legend back there, that 570-70cc Husqvarna that you see, this Steel MS290, as well as this 562. I have saws of every make, basically every model. This is going to be our next project. Stay tuned to this. This was salvaged. It's hung up. I haven't really done anything to it, but it's got a ton of things wrong. We're going to bring this thing back to life, but I run 40-to-1 oil too. And the way you can mix this is a 2.5 ounce. It's supposed to be for 2.5 gallons, but that's at 50-to-1. So pour this whole bottle into your fuel container, put 2 gallons of fuel in it, and shake it up, and that's 40-to-1. So I run 40-to-1 and everything. Hey friends, I hope that's helped. You can see we started off with our fuel. We made sure we had the right fuel mixture, made sure we didn't have water in our fuel. Then we checked our spark plug. As you can tell on this one, our spark plug gap was only 0.1 of an inch, and that was the original spark plug from the factory. I don't know how it ran so well as it did, but we re-gapped it using our spark plug tool, okay, to 25 thousandths. It was setting only on 10. I'll have a link to this. Then we checked the spark plug, make sure it's getting fire. I've also got a link to this tool if you use it, or you can simply ground it out to the cylinder like what you saw me do. Pull on it a few times and see if it's getting spark. While we had it out, we had this compression gauge. I'll have a link to these as well. You just screw it in, you pull it about 6 times, and we had 180 psi. That is a tremendous amount of compression, especially for these budget saws. I'm very impressed with that, friends. So we had spark, we had fuel, we had air. We looked at our air cleaner, and we had compression. All 4 things that's needed to have these saws run right. Now go back and watch that other Vevor video from 2 weeks ago, Vevor 101 carburetor tuning. It says watch before you tune your carburetor. Go back and watch that. That is an in-depth tutorial on how to adjust these carburetors and adjust them effectively. Friends, this is one of about a 4-part series on these Vevor and budget chainsaws. I've got a Pro Yama coming in. Pro Yama reached out to me. They watched our videos. They know I'm going to give you a no-nonsense Master ASE Certified Technician's overview of this saw. I'm not going to cut the corners, but I am going to tell you how you can fix your saws, how you can tune your saws. I know a lot of you get frustrated, and we got a lot of people on here, of course. I'm telling you, these saws for you and me, for the homeowners who don't need the $1,000 saws, who don't need the $600 saws. You just need the $100 saw that's in this link, okay? Save a little money if you use my link. And also, I'm an affiliate, so I also get a little bit of money. But you can see I am not biased towards anything. I have all makes and models of saws, from vintage to new to $1,000 saws to these $100 saws. And right now, we're talking about these $100 saws, and I am so impressed. Especially 180 psi on the compression. You can't beat that, friends. So take it from me. If you keep your saw in working order, I'll have several videos coming to help you maintain these saws through the year. We're going to do a Vevor and budget saw series and walk you through these things to help you work on these things yourself if you want to. I know there's not much help out there, but I'm here to help you if you can. Please leave a comment if I can help you. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Remember, love God and love your neighbor. Hey friends, don't forget our giveaway. We're going to be giving away this brand new hatchet in the month of July, and I'm also going to throw in a bottle of my favorite ethanol shield that you can add to all your fuel to help with water, help with ethanol treatment. So remember, count me in, like, subscribe to the channel, hit that hype button, and you'll get 2 times the entries for every single video. So hey, I appreciate you. Count me in. You can find this saw in our link. You can save some money.